Hello students and welcome to the e-learning program initiated by Shri Gyanmanjari for the students of Standard 9 in which we are studying the subject of English. Students, from previous lecture we started with chapter number 8 of moments. So let us quickly revise what we have learned in chapter number 8. A house is not a home. Now, we see that the boy who just came to the first year of high school, we know first year of high school is 8th standard. So, in US it will be 8th grade. Yes, just a different way of saying it. Otherwise, it's the same. So, first year of high school that we learned the boy was in had just come into. And according to rules over there, according to the grades that you get in the senior primary school, right? Or junior high school if we say up till uh, standard number 7, standard 7 or grade 7, right, whatever that is. So after leaving junior high school at the head of my class, that means I was at the top, right? So I was given a better school, whereas all my friends, because they scored less, they were sent to other schools. So that might be the arrangement over there, right? So he was all alone over there, and you people know, right? And many of you might have to shift schools now and then, so you know, you are aware of that. You go to a new school, yes, whole of the environment is different. You have nobody known over there, no friends over there, all the teachers are new, and the school is also new, complete environment is new. So you feel quite awkward for a while, right? But very soon you mold yourself into it, and then your old school, your old friends, slowly you forget them. But when you are new, you always tend to go back to your own school if that is quite nearby. Yes, do visit now and then again your old school. You want to meet the old teachers because you were familiar with them. Yes, you were quite attached with those teachers, your school very much. Yes, you every nook and corner of the school you knew, and you're so much attached, you now and then again wish to go back there and meet the teachers over there. The teachers also, yes, they welcome you, yeah, because you are now an ex-student of that school. But they know why you are coming back, because you have gone to a new school. Students always come back to the old school to meet the old teachers, because they are not able to settle that much, right? It is just a few initial days, maybe 3 4 days, 5 days, 1 week, and they are not able to set in the new school, new environment, new teachers, new friends, new co-students. Then they are not able to uh, adjust themselves with the new environment. So they keep coming back to the old school. Same thing is done by this lad also. He again goes back to his school, but and then lots of comparison also is shown over there. The new school is twice as much as the in size to the old school. Yes, of course, it's a primary school, so classes are going to small, the strength is going to be small, the school is going to be small. But now new school, but the students have grown up quite a bit. Yes, and now they are studying in the high school, so of course the classrooms are going to be big, the strength of the class is going to be, and there is going to be a lot of strength in that same class, same standard, and of course the building is going to be big. Yes, so that way he does a lot of comparison. And what he is more tense about is his friends has gone to they have gone to another school, whereas he's the only one over here. So he missed his teachers so much that he used to get go back again and again, and his school teachers, they knew very well why he was coming back again and again. So they advised him, yes, we don't stop you from coming here, you can come whenever you want. This was your school, this is going to be your school forever in your life. Yes, whenever you want, you can always come back over here and meet us, yes, and talk with us. But then you should also get more and more involved in the new environment, so that the process of settling in the new school, getting mixed with the teachers, new friends, co-students, all of that, yes, then when you get too much involved over there, then you won't have time to come back. So the days in between, they will continue to be, the gap is going to be bigger and bigger. Yes, say some every 2 or 3 days you are going to your old school, but your involvement in the new school begins, and you are very much involved in over there. So first what will happen, you'll take 1 week again to go back to your old school. But then when you get involved, you don't have that much time. Say once in 15 days, then once in 1 month. So slowly, you are not staying away from your old school, but going to your old school becomes harder and harder because of the schedule that you have with the new school, the involvement that you have with the new school, and slowly you don't forget, but then you get less time to go over there. And plus you want to increase the relationship with the new school in such a good way that you involve yourself more and more. So that is what the school teachers tell him. Then we saw that they made me promise that whenever happen, I would still come by. Whenever you are too much involved over there, then also say once in a 3 month or once in a 6 months time, you'll come back and meet us. You'll not forget us altogether. I understood the psychology in what they were saying, but I took some comfort in. Nonetheless, I understand why they were saying it, because uh, it's not that the teachers didn't want me to come over there. These teachers always welcome, because it's not only you that you are an ex-student. Yes, many students who have passed out of the school, say 5 years, 10 years before, yes, now they are grown-ups. Perhaps they are working somewhere, settled in life, family, yes, wife, children, all that, but still they come back, right? So for them, it's a everyday usual work. But what they want to tell you is, now you have an attachment with the old school, but time has passed. You should step forward and move ahead in the life. Don't keep coming back. You move ahead in the time. That is what the psychology says. So one Sunday he was doing his work in his drawing room, and on the table he was working, and all of a sudden he sees smoke filling in the room. At first he didn't understand, but then smoke was coming out from the ceilings a little bit, and no, within no time it filled up the entire room, and so much so that he was having problem in breathing. So he and his mother, they rushed out of the house, only to see that the roof has caught fire, right? So the red tabby will usually sit on the table with them. Yes, we used to work on the table with his papers, and tabby, the cat, it would sit on the papers and sometimes play with the pen, etc. The cat was rescued by this small little boy when the cat was also quite young, and it was just a baby kitten, and that is why the cat admires this boy like anything and never leaves him. Whenever he is in the house, the boy, the cat is always with him, and both of them, they play a lot and they have fun a lot. Might be the cat might be going to sleep with him in the bed also, right? Because pets usually, if you even keep a rug on the floor, even a soft woolen rug on the floor, so that they don't catch cold, etc., you keep them over there. In the middle of the night they are going to jump in and curl inside your blankets and be with you, because pets are usually fond of being with the small boys, etc., small boys, small girls, because they are very naughty just like them, and they can have fun with them, right? And they are mixed up so much intimately that they just be together wherever they are. So same way this cat also was, yes, never far from the little boy. And my mother was stoking the fire, and all of a sudden we have learned that smoke started coming from the cracks of the roof, ceiling, and it started filling in the drawing room, or the room on the ground floor, and both of them, they rushed out in the front yard. And when they went in the front yard, they can see the whole of the roof had caught fire, and now because roof had caught fire and the smoke was filling in the top floor, and then the smoke was trying to get in the ground floor, and smoke filled up everything, heated up the things, and no sooner whole of the house would be on fire. Before that happened, mother and the son, because both of them only were living in the house, as the little boy's father had died when he was in the second or third grade. So the mother was bringing up the child all alone, and both of them rushed out of the house into the yard. But then what happened, don't know, but mother again rushed inside too, because all the valuables also, for example, credit card, debit cards, ATMs, and some checkbooks, cash, some cash, or some important documents, maybe of insurance, etc. So she went there to collect it. When she came out with a chest full of the boxes and all that. She threw it on in the yard, and again, God knows what happened, again rushed in. But this time, the little boy understood why she had gone inside, right? The memories of father, that means the memory of her husband. His husband is no more. But we have those memories with us which keep the person alive even when he has passed out, quite passed away quite a lot of time ago. And we have those fond memories of it. Many things that are attached with him. Yes, might be some medals or some photographs, etc. And she didn't want to burn those photographs and letters in the fire. She went in to bring out those things safely, because that was the only memory that allowed her to remember her most dearest husband. So she went in and brought out those things. But by the time smoke was too much billowing out of the windows and doors and smashing the glass, etc., fire had already broken out, and the boy was really worried now, because first time it was okay, first time that was not fire, but then the next time she went in, the almost whole of the house had caught fire, and he got very much worried, and that is a cause of concern, because he had already lost his father and now mother also, just like a mad person going into the house which has caught fire. So he said, "No, mom, no, don't go inside." But by the time he screamed, mother was already inside. I was about to run, and suddenly some firm, strong hands caught me. I looked behind and saw the fireman. Till then, I didn't notice. In all the activities, I didn't notice that somebody might have called the fire brigade, and the whole of the fire brigade is there with the tools and equipments and um, um, water bowsers and all that, and trying to extinguish the fire, right? So the fireman caught him. He knows this desperate situation where your loved ones are inside, and anybody, even a child, will try to run in and save his mother. So catches hold of the boy and says, "No, boy, no. Your mother is inside. Okay, she'll be safe. Somebody has gone inside too. Bring her out." So this way, you don't understand. My mother is in there. He held on to me while other firemen went inside the house. He knew that I wasn't very acting very logically. Yes, in these circumstances, we don't. When our family members are inside and fire has already engulfed the whole house, we don't reason logically, or we don't think rationally or logically. We just go inside a house because our beloved ones are inside. We want to help them out. We don't want to lose them. So he knew he was acting illogically, but then the fireman held him, and he was right. Okay, they'll get her. Somebody has gone inside, and they'll bring out the uh, woman very well, and she won't be hurt. So he wrapped a blanket around me and took me down to my car, made me sit in the car, and soon after, a fireman emerged from our house with my mother in tow, mother behind him. He quickly took her over to the trunk and put an oxygen mask on her. And it's really a pitiful sight to see your mother. Yes, maybe because of the smoke and fire, she's has, has turned all black all over, and she has to have a oxygen mask in order to breathe. It's not a dear sight. It's a very, very sad sight, a frightful sight. See your mother is black all over with the fire and smoke, and plus the oxygen mask on top of that. So he was very much dreaded by the scene, and he just couldn't understand what to do. So he just ran over and he hugged his mother, embraced his mother tightly, and was very much relieved to find his mother alive. I think we reached over there. So let us go on with today's lecture, House is Not a Home, written by Zan Guarioso. All those times I ever argued with her and hated her vanished at the thought of losing her. Yes, moms are like that. Yes, they are very sometimes very, very testing, right? Yes, when you really scorn at her and you don't like the way she behaves with you. Yes, you want to play and she makes you do your homework. Yes, you want to go out to play and she makes you sit down, right? You want something, but at that time she says no, and she can be really testing, and all the time you always argue with your mother, especially this boy who didn't have a father. So all those time he remembered that all the time I had been arguing with my mother, fighting with my mother. Yes, hated my mother sometimes. Yes, when things didn't go my way, I really hated mother like anything. But all of that thing seeing her alive, breathing, yes, and me hugging her, all those thoughts of fighting her, all those thoughts of hating her just vanished in thin air, and I really loved her like anything because of only one reason. I had the thought of losing her. She's going to be okay, said the fireman. Okay, she's not hurt, she's not burnt. Only might the smoke and the fire, she might have touched something which is already burnt. So there might be some black spots here and there, right? But otherwise, she's okay. She must have consumed a little bit of smoke, so she finds herself dizzy, and that is why that oxygen is given, so that oxygen again starts circulating in the body, and within no time, without any medicine, she's going to be okay, said the fireman. She's just inhaled a little bit of smoke. And then he ran back to fight the fire while my mother and I sat back there, dazed, in a dizzy state. You don't know what's happening. Whole of the world, the whole of the sky is twirling and circling around you, on the top of you, right? And you find quite dizzy, quite amazed at what happened. Yes, just 5 minutes back, we were quietly sitting in our room, yes, happily near the warm fire, and all of a sudden, just 5-10 minutes later, whole of the house is in fire flames, and we know we cannot, because whole of the house is made up of wood, and within no time, the fire is going to consume whole of the house, and we are not going to do anything about it. We cannot. We are just not in a situation to do anything. So the fireman also said she will be okay. Yes, and then he ran off to fight the fire. But both of them, they were just sitting over there, dazed and looking at the fire. What has happened to our home? I remember watching my house burn down and thinking that there was nothing I could do about it. There was nothing else to do about. You can't do anything. Yes, these big people, adults, these firemen, they are constantly. Now the fire has caught the complete building and now complete house, and now you cannot do anything. You cannot just go inside. Yes, whole of the house is burning. Yes, even the firemen stay away from it. They are extinguishing the fire by spraying the cannon of water over there, and they simply can't do anything, the firemen also. And what about the child and the uh, mother? Helplessly, they are just looking at the fire, looking at that dear little home burning down to ashes. 5 hours later, the fire was finally out, right? And dousing a fire or extinguishing a fire that has broken out in a house is really, really quite tough. Yes, because lots of material, they first resist the fire. They don't easily catch fire. But once they catch fire, they will keep on burning for hours. So you have to drowse them. You have to completely drench those things in water. Yes, for example, the sofa set, etc. They are made of soft material. They are going to poof, just like that. They are going to catch fire. Everything is just flammable inside, the cotton, the cloth, everything, and within no time it's going to burn. But what about that wood of which the frame is made? It's going to catch fire slowly, but then once it burns, it will keep on burning for hours until whole of the wood is totally turned into ashes. Same way, there are lots of furniture, lots of things, household things, yes, plastic things. Some of them are metal things. They don't catch fire, metal things, but then lots of wooden things, plastic things, they will continue burning till 2 days, 3 days. Smoke will keep on continuing to come out of the building. So the fire brigade, they completely drench the whole of the house in water, so that not a single spark remains. Because even if it is a single spark and say the water has dried out and all that, again the wood, as it becomes dry, it will start catching fire if there is some spark glowing. So in that way, the firemen, with the help of the water, they had completely drenched, completely wet the whole of the house in such a way that what was not destroyed by fire was destroyed by water, because water cannon, right, it goes with force and it breaks things, and it's easy because there's lots of fire, you need lots of water to be sprayed, right? So what was not lost by fire was completely destroyed by the water. The fire was finally out. A house was almost completely burned down, but then it struck me. Completely burned down. You can see black columns over there, everything black. Yes, nothing standing. You cannot identify a single thing, right? So, whole of my house was burned down completely. But something struck me then. I forgot something. What was that? I hadn't seen my cat until now. There was no time to think about the cat, and we usually do not have to worry about the pets if they are not chained. Yes, at these times. So it has been told to us in disaster management also that if you have pets and domesticated animals, do not keep them tied. If you keep them tied, what's going to happen? Even if they have the ability to save them, because uh, these are animals, they have that natural instinct of saving themselves, right? They work on their own instincts, in their inborn instinct which is in their DNA. Each and every animal can surely drink, can surely swim in water. They know it by default, right? हमारे हमको तो सीखना पड़ता है पानी में तैरना, ये उनको by default आता है, right? When they are young ones, right? So you should not keep them tied. If you keep them tied, they won't be able to move from there, and the house will collapse on them, the shed will collapse on them. Yes, because they are tied. If the flood comes, they can't escape because they are tied, and they will drown because they are tied, right? If they were free, they could swim and reach the banks of the river, right? So that is one of the things. Now, all this happened so fast that I completely forgot about my cat. I hadn't seen my cat. Where was my cat? Much to my horror, I realized that she was nowhere to be found. Yes, they were still in that compound. Yes, just outside the compound maybe, but they were still somewhere near the house. And these animals, they are very quick in identifying the family members. Yes, so they even know the neighbors, leave alone the family members, right? So if they had run away at the time of fire, they would still be somewhere in the house, because for them also, you people are family members. That's the only family they have, right? So they will be somewhere going round and round and barking around the house if it's a dog, and they will soon find one of the family member and stick to them, right? Because as they love him, he also loves them. Same thing with the cat, right? So if the cats, they can just bring from anywhere to everywhere, right? So they are not easily that much caught by the fire, right? Because of their ability to escape very soon and very instantly in a flash. So cat most probably will not die in that fire, but now it was nowhere to be found. Up till now, all this time, the cat must have gone round the building and found the little boy and the mother, right? And it would be safe. But then the cat was nowhere to be seen. Then all at once it hit me. The new school, the fire, my cat, everything is going wrong with me. Yes, all of a sudden it hit me. Yes, the world is going, whole of the world is going wrong against me, and I can't do anything, right? I'm in a very frustrated and in a very horrifying situation. Just change the school. I'm in a new school. I don't know any teachers. I don't know the environment. I don't know any of my friends over here are not there. I don't know any of the new students. Yes, and now the fire has completely burned down my house. Yes, and then my most beloved pet, my animal, my cat, now that is also known that this was the point. I could not resist myself from crying, and I started crying like anything, and I cried and cried. I broke down in tears and cried and cried. I was suffering loss, big time, huge. I was suffering huge loss that I cannot compensate. Yes, where am I going to get my dear old cat, right? So a small one, little one, it was very cute, that has gone. Yes, I left my whole school. I came to a new school. Nobody knows me over there. Who is going to help me? My friends have gone to other school, right? And this is the only house I had. Yes, me and mother, we are safe, but then we don't even have an extra clothing with us because we just ran away from the house, ran out of the house, and we don't have anything to wear, anything to change, anything to eat. And on top of that, cat is also not there. So this is unbearable. This is one moment which I cannot bear, and that was the breaking point, and he started crying. Up till now he did not cry. He is a small little boy, but he is quite courageous, and we see that he has stood steadfast over there. Yes, uh, waiting for his mother to come back. If mother didn't come, he was ready to go into the fire. He is quite courageous. Yes, if the fireman had not caught him on time, he would have just gone into the fire and tried to save his mother, right? But we see that here now he is in fright. He is terrorized. Yes, he is horrified by the huge shocks, shock after shock he has been getting in just a very short time. Change of school, yes, house burned down, and now the cat is missing. It is all things to put together, just unbearable. Now, the fireman wouldn't let us go back into the house that night. Yes, now, who is in authority? Who is in charge now? The firemen, they are in charge of the house. It is your house, but then it has completely burned down. Yes, it is not cement concrete. We should remember that. Whole of this house, and those parts they make out of wood. So it is very, very dangerous. Whole of the structure has become weak due to the fire. Lots of beams, maybe pillars, the floor, etc. If it didn't crumble whole of the house, but then also the structure has become too weak. Yes, it might be giving way, but slowly, 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 because of the weight on the top, and all of a sudden, because now whole of the house is black like anything, charcoal. Yes, and the house is in total ruins. Yes, and it is not safe to live or to pass a night. Yes, even if you don't have a place to live, then also uh, you should not live in a house that has recently been extinguished with fire, right? So extinguished to fire, right? So that way the firemen, they won't allow us to stay in the house, because now literally you don't have a bed in such a huge fire. All the bed, the clothing, the mattresses, whatever things, they are all burned down. You don't have any single clean place to live. And on top of that, the structure is so weak that at any time it might crumble. And if you are inside, yes, even if you are not living in, but you are trying to find some valuables, and the house comes down on you, yes, then it's quite dangerous. So it was too still dangerous. Dead or alive, I couldn't imagine living without knowing about my cat. Regardless, I had to go. Yes, now I cannot do without my cat. I cannot live without my dear cat. Yes, it's always with me. But in this fire, God knows what happened with her. Is she alive or is she dead? I can't even search. Yes, and it's all over, even the house. Yes, the cat. I have to forget everything. I didn't want to go without her, but then, regardless, that means without any regards, without any conscious thinking about that, I had to go. We piled into the car with just the clothes on our backs and a few of the firemen's blankets. Now, we know those areas, they are quite, they become quite cold when the evening comes. Whole of the night, it's freezing cold. Yes, these are some of the colder parts of the world, right? Especially during the winter. And so, we we got into the car. That's the meaning. Yes, and we just had, yes, some things that we just caught while running, or might be when mother went inside, she brought out some things. Yes, we just had a pack on our bags, on our back, and we threw that in the trunk of the car, or maybe on the back seat, because now these two people are there. Yes, even if the cat was there, she could fit anywhere, right? But the cat is not to be found anywhere. And both of them, the mother and son, they piled into the car with whatever small little luggage they had, and few of the firemen's blanket, because to spend the night, especially when they're traveling somewhere, they have to go somewhere to spend the night, right? So the firemen had given blankets because of the cold, so they wrapped the blankets, and that is what they had total. Yes, in their complete life, they might have earned lots of money and must have made a very beautiful house, and lots of decoration, and lots of um, uh, things to live in. Yes, and lots of luxuries they must have bought, and it was a nice, cozy, comfortable house. But right now, they don't have anything but whatever they have worn at that time, and the blankets that were donated by the fire brigade. And made our way to my grandparents' house to spend the night. The grandparents were living nearby, or maybe we don't know the distance, but then they had to go because they didn't have anybody, and grandparents were there, so they had to go to the grandparents to spend the night. The next day, Monday, I went to school when the fire broke out. The next day, Monday, I went to school. When the fire broke out, and then it will be in the next slide. So, next day was Monday. This thing happened on Sunday, we know. Now, next Monday. So, Monday, it is school time. He had to go. When the fire broke out, I was still wearing the dress I had worn to church that morning, but I had no shoes. Right? Sunday morning, usually in the churches there is a mass prayer. So all the Christians, they go over to the church, and basically these are the parts where Christianity is in a majority over there. And usually when the church bell rings, all the neighborhood houses, they go over there to offer their prayers in a mass. Mass means communal prayer, right? So that day, Sunday, he had gone to the church and he was wearing that clothing which is necessary to wear in the church in the Sunday mass, right? So he was wearing that, and because he was in the house, carpet is there below him, a rug is there, so he didn't need any shoes. So he was wearing that. They had gone to the grandparents, slept the night in the same clothes, and Monday morning he had to go to school. Now he was having that only one pair of clothes which he was wearing, and that he was wearing right from Sunday morning when he had gone to mass. So he still had that uh, church dress on him, but then he didn't have any shoes, and there is an exclamation mark after it. Yes, it's a surprise. He is quite. It's quite strange. Now, will you go to school without shoes? No, I had kicked them off when I was doing my homework. Yes, these are colder parts, right? So you need to wear sleepers, chappals, or some comfortable thing to keep your feet warm, right? So he had kicked off because the fire was there, so he might be feeling quite warm in the shoes, so he must have kicked his shoes off, and that shoes got burnt in the fire. Now he was without shoes, right? They became yet another casualty of the fire. Casualty, uh, they, they burnt in the fire. Yes, no more. So they became yet another casualty, or permanent loss in the fire. So I had to borrow some tennis shoes from my aunt. Now, aunt was also living over there with the grandparents, so I had to borrow some tennis shoes from my aunt. Now, aunt is an adult, right? So if even if she tries to give the smallest shoes, then also those shoes are going to be bigger. Yes, will look like a flip flop. Why? Couldn't I just stay home from school? My mother wouldn't hear of it, but I was totally embarrassed by everything. Yes, I'm not properly dressed. I don't have my books. I don't have my bag, right? And how can I go to school? I am in that church dress. Yes, and I'm wearing sports shoes. I'm wearing that tennis shoes below the church dress, and the clothes, they are also quite crumpled, and they are not even pressed, right? Because he has been in them 24 hours now. So why should I go to school? Mothers, they don't listen to you, right? As far as school is concerned, right? So of course, if you go to school, then she can do rest of the work. If you are there, then you're going to harass her, and she won't be able to do her work. And anyway, a mother's responsibility that the child never misses the school. It's a very good habit of the mothers, and they're very adamant about it. Yes, they won't listen to you. Yes, you give thousand excuses, she'll just pick up a stick and run behind you and send you to school, running all the way to the school. So my mother wouldn't listen about it, but I was totally embarrassed. Embarrassed, I was quite feeling ashamed, embarrassed about it. Yes, just look at my dressing. All the other kids, uh, no, in those schools, uniform is not there, but then you have to wear some neat and good clothes. Right now, he was in that all crumpled up church, so everybody knows what is to be worn at the church. And on top of that, the tennis shoes, which are quite big for him. The clothes I was wearing looked weird. I had no books or no homework. I had done this. Homework got burnt. Yes, and my backpack was also gone. Where he used to take his essential things to school. That backpack that you have, that is your school bag, right? So none of it was there. Everything got burnt in the fire, and I was just going empty-handed to school in crumpled and weird sort of dressing. I had my life in that backpack. Yes, it is very, very true. A schoolboy or a schoolgirl. Yes, just ask them, I want to check your bag. Yes, they'll feel quite embarrassed about it. Yes, because whole of their world in that thing, right? It might be just nothing for somebody. Yes, the father and mother and teachers and all the adults will think, ये क्या बच्चों जैसी छोटी छोटी चीजें लेके घूमते हो, right? So, but that is that world for the children, right? Whole of the world is what was in it. The more I tried to fit in, the worse it got. Yes, now I try to fit in the environment as much as possible, but then more I try to get in, the more weird I felt about it. Worse it got. Was I destined to be an outcast and a geek all my life? And what I destined? Looking at me, yes, rubbish. I look like rubbish. What am I? I'm going to remain like this whole of my life. Yes, the only pair of clothes I'm to wear whole of the time, whole of the life, right? I'm to be an outcast. Outcast who is casted out, right? So he looks totally different from other people. Now school people in the school, they don't know what happened to you. It will take some time for everybody to learn that this boy has lost his home in fire and he has nothing. And then you know how friends work. Yes, you know how these are the tough times when friends help you like anything, but for that you got to give them time so that they can think, right? Because they are all new to you, they are not your friends. Friends will be with you, yes, then you don't have to worry. Somebody will take you to lunch, somebody will take you to dinner, somebody will offer their old uniform. Somebody might even get you a new uniform stitched within no time. The mother might help out to stitch. So you know how friends are. But here what's the problem? It's a new school and he doesn't know anybody. So the more he tried to fit in, and the more and more the situation got worse. Yes, what I was looking like an outcast, yes, or a geek all my life. That's what it felt like. I don't want to grow up, change, or have to handle life. If it was going to be this way, I just wanted to curl up and die. Right? This is nothing up till here. Die. This is nothing but the over embarrassment that the small child is feeling. He's feeling ashamed. In plain, simple words, if I can discuss embarrassment, it is nothing but uh, shame, right? It's too shameful to walk in dirty looking clothes, crumpled, without press, not neat and clean. Yes, and all the other boys and girls, they're shining, had a good bath in the morning. He was in somebody's house, didn't have a toothbrush also of his own, right? Everything got burnt in the fire. Now he didn't have his backpack, he didn't have his books, he didn't have his homework. Yes, he didn't even have his own shoes and socks. He got borrowed everything, and now he is looking as a separate entity which has come from Mars or Venus, right? So, do I have to live like this? Oh, it's better to get curl in the corner and just die over there without even anybody noticing where you are and what you are. So he was just feeling too much embarrassed. He was not able to face the situation. Yes, and you know, human beings, we are very, very careful about sympathy. Yes, if something has happened to us, we want people to come to us and talk to us and tell us that they are also sorry, yes, and all that, and to help us out as much as possible. We are all human beings and we have all that same tendencies. Yes, but here something wrong is happening because it's a new school, new classmates, new schoolmates, nobody knows him. Then how is somebody going to come and sympathize him? Everybody is going to look at him and laugh. Yeah, look, just look, what a shabby fellow has entered our school. I walked around the school like a zombie. Zombie, a person who has come up from the dead. Yes, yeah, we have seen lots of zombie movies. There are lots of zombie games. So you know what a zombie is. Yes, a dead man walking. Yes, it was like something like I was like just a dead man walking over there. Everything felt surreal, unrealistic, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen. And that's the most difficult thing. Anybody's going to catch you and call you, hey, how are you dressed? Yes, you don't have. How are you going to explain so many things to each and everybody that calls you and one? So everybody laughs at you. Everybody's calling you. Everybody's calling you names. Yes, and everybody's just looking at you and having fun. Yes, and you're walking like a zombie over. Of course, that's because of the tennis shoes. He borrowed it from his aunt. Aunt is elder, right? So those shoes are not going to fit, and he has to walk like a zombie so that the shoes they stay in the feet, right? All the security I had known from my old school, my friends, my house, and my cat had all been ripped away, snatched away from me. That is what he is at a total loss of. The huge loss that he is saying. Yes, my friends are not with me. If I went to my old school, all the students would have gathered around me. Yes, even asked if you had breakfast. They might have shared even their chocolates and bubble gums and chewing gums and all that stuff with me. Yes, given me something to eat. Yes, somebody might have promised, yes, I'll come to your place and give you all the clothes. Yes, don't worry about the shoes and socks and all that. Right? So he would not get sympathy, but he would be having at least friends over there to sympathize with him and to share that moment of sorrow in which he is. In the new school, he didn't get any of that. So it looks as if everything has been snatched away from me, is in just one night. Yes, what is it? My old school, my friends, my house, my cat, everything just snatched away from me within a very, very short time. So we'll stop over here. Thank you, students.